Back here at home, a Texas Tech grad and Lubbock native spent her Thanksgiving leading a team to decorate for the White House over the holidays. Susan Talkmit says a year ago, the creative manager of the executive residence came into her store, The Nest Egg. He started talking to her about ornaments on the tree, then told her that he decorated the White House. He offered her a chance to help. A few months later, he called Talkmit back and offered her a captain position. Talkmit studied ornamental horticulture at Texas Tech and says her time being a Red Raider prepared her for this big gig.
I was a faculty member, but I also was an assistant chair of a center at Tech. And we supervised students in internships and then worked with teachers in the summer. So that lined up really well for me.
Talkmit was one of 10 captains at the White House decorating. Coming up tonight at 10, we'll hear more about which rooms she decorated and how she brought some of the hub city to the nation's capital.